Hello, one and all. Welcome to the Galaxy Man Show. So, for my very last guest of this week is this sensational artist known by the name of Alex Goupil. So, I'm about to add Alex into the live now and have a chat with Alex about his sensational music. So, yeah, let's add Alex in and have a chat with Alex. Hello, Alex. What's up?
Hello, hello. How's it going?
I'm good, thank you. It's such a pleasure having you on the show for today. For people that don't know who you are, Alex, if you can give like a little backstory about yourself, and then we'll dive right into the questions.
Absolutely. So my name's Alex Goupil. I'm a musician. Been playing music for almost 16 years now. Ever since I was 12 years old, been writing my own song. Been in plenty of bands throughout the years, and it's always been my biggest passion. Something I'm still trying to do full time. Slowly but surely getting there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just been a lover of music for my whole life and writing songs.
So we'll dive right into the questions now, Alex. So for my very first question, so you have just like made this new song called "I Swear," which is awesome, by the way, which is an awesome title.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So what's the meaning behind "I Swear"? Like, what's the meaning behind this song?
So that's a great question. Actually, I really like the meaning behind this song because I wanted to do something a little different. And I wanted to, because I like writing a lot of love songs, but I was trying to do something different than the traditional, let's say, sad breakup song or the happy love song and try to find something a little bit in between. And I swear is basically that feeling when you finally realize that you're over that person that's been bringing all this burden. You know, when you break up with someone, you're going to be sad for a long time. But when you finally realize, like, hey, I'm going to be okay, and like, life goes on, and there's a lot of good things to look forward to, and all that. That feeling of finally having that burden off of your shoulders is what I swear pretty much is all about. Which it all started off with the chorus. Is when it says, I swear that I've been doing just fine. I'm all right without you by my side. And I hate how long it took to realize. I feel like that summarizes the meaning of the song very well.
So on to my very next question. With the next original song I'm gonna name is Letting Go. Like, what was it
Hmm.
like creating this one, and what's the meaning behind letting go?
I gotta say, Letting Go is probably my favorite song that I've ever written so far. It's really like one of those songs where it's like it really makes you feel something. That was the goal behind the song because that's what I feel like music is all about, right? Trying to make you feel emotions, whether that's good or bad, or it helps you get through those tough moments. So that's what Letting Go is all about. It's about not necessarily about love, although I've written it in that perspective of letting go of somebody you love. It can also be seen as just letting go of pretty much anything that you don't want to let go of, but you don't have a choice, whether it's moving into a different city, which I've been through quite a lot in my life, or moving on from a relationship that you don't want to leave that person, but you kind of don't have a choice and you have to kind of let that go. That's what pretty much the song represents for me, I would say.
On to my very next question. So you have also created a song called Drowning, which is another incredible song.
Thank
What
you.
was it like creating this one, and what's the meaning behind Drowning?
Drowning was really fun to make. It's one of those songs where it has a little bit more beat to it, I would say, compared to one of my slower acoustic songs. And I always love working with these producers in these songs because they're always so good at like, adding all these cool drums and something that I'm still working on. I feel like I'm really good at writing just songs with like acoustic guitars and singing. Whereas Drowning, it has this whole production to it, which I think is really cool. So there was definitely a lot of collaboration with this one, which I like a lot. I used to live in the UK in London. Actually, I moved there for music a couple years ago, and I met my producer over there. And when I had to move back to Canada after my visa expired, I was still able to keep working with him. And Drowning was the last song that I did before moving back to Canada. So it was the last song I did in London in person with him. So it means a lot to me because it brings back those memories of being in London and writing and working on music and working with these producers. Thankfully enough, I'm still working with that same person now. All virtually, you can do so many things virtually now, right? So that's I'm able to still work with them, which is really cool.
So on to my very next question. So you have also created a song called Carried Away, which is
Hmm.
amazing too. Like all your songs are so like you can definitely tell with your songs you have so much emotion and you let like your
Thank you
emotions
so
out,
much. I
which
really
I
appreciate
love
that.
about you as an artist. So yeah, what's it like creating this song Carried Away, and what's the meaning behind this one?
Well, first of all, thank you so much because I feel like emotions is really what I try to capture when I write music, right? So it really means a lot that you say that. But Carried Away, it's a little bit different because I'm really used to writing these love songs, right? So Carried Away is actually not a love song, which is one of my only ones that I have that's not directly about love. It's about basically trying to stay positive when things get tough, basically. And that's what the whole chorus is about. And it started with the chorus, this song, and I was really happy when I came up with that chorus. I was like, oh, this is really like uplifting, and it's there's a lot of positivity towards it. It's different than my than the other stuff that I usually write, and it was very fun to work on something a little bit different like that. But my goal with the song was really to go and try to get people to always look at the positive, always look at the bright side and keep going no matter what. And don't let yourself get carried away, I guess.
On to my very next question. So, what made you, like Alex, decide, hey, I want to start being a singer, like I want to be in the music industry? What made you decide all that?
It really started at a very young age. I remember my parents told me that even when I was in kindergarten and elementary school, my teachers would tell my parents that like, "Hey, Alex cannot stop singing in class." Like, and even one of my teachers would say like, "It's quite impressive that at his age he can remember those lyrics and all that." So I guess it's always been something that I was drawn to, and I probably get that from my dad, I would say, because he's a bit of a musician. He didn't pursue a career in music, but in high school he used to be in bands and play trombones and stuff like that. And he, ever since I was a kid, he would always show me all these classics and all this great music. So I must have taken it from him, but it's just always something that I had within me. And it all started, I think I took it more seriously when I was about 12 years old and I got my first guitar, which best present I've ever got, by the way, was my first electric guitar at 12 years old. It really kicked things off for me. And as soon as I started learning guitar, I wanted to really sing like a little bit more professionally and take lessons and try to really, work towards it. So that's really the moment that set it all off for me.
So onto that, like, what does performing music like mean to you, like especially as an artist?
It's the best thing in the world. I know it's so cliche, but performing live is honestly one of my favorite things to do. It's just so awesome to see, that you're providing entertainment for these people and just seeing that these people don't have to think about all their problems for a second and they can just sit back, enjoy some music, and which is what I love about going to shows myself is, you get to live in that moment and not have so many worries about what's going on in your life, and it's just so awesome to be able to provide that for people. And I was lucky enough to also play some shows where I saw people sing back my own lyrics to me, which it's such an amazing feeling to see that the songs you wrote can, people relate to them. It makes them feel better, and you can see that it's just such an awesome feeling to see those people relate to something that you created.
So on to my very next question. So if you could go anywhere on tour, like take your music anywhere, any country in the world, where would you want to take your music to and why?
There's so many places, right? I mean, it's very hard to choose, but I would say right now I'm actually hoping to be working on a little Eastern Canadian tour. So maybe start off in like Quebec City and go down all the way to like Toronto and all those places. That's something I'm working on right now. Fingers crossed it's going to happen sooner than later. Hopefully next year that's something I'll be able to do. But if I had to choose anywhere in the world and it was a free for all, I would probably go to the UK and Europe just because I've lived there before. And I feel like, first of all, Europe is such a beautiful place. And I always love, visiting the countries and the cities over there. So that's something I would like to do. And from playing shows, honestly, in the UK, and I played a couple shows in different cities in Europe as well, the crowds are just very attentive, and I just love the ambience that the crowds have over there. So I think the touring over there would be something that I would really enjoy.
On to my very next question. So if you could work with any top three music artists in the music industry, who would you want to work with and why?
The first one would definitely be Ed Sheeran. I'm not sure if you've seen the documentary that he's done, and it really shows his life like as a tour musician and when he actually writes songs with people. And it's just so impressive to see what he's able to come up with and his work ethic. And he's just so talented as a songwriter. And I'm sure that if I would work with him, there's going to be a lot of hits that would come out of that. Definitely more on his end than from my end, but it would definitely be my number one collaborator would be Ed Sheeran. I would also have to go with John Mayer, simply because he's my favorite artist of all time. I think he's so talented as a guitarist, a singer, and as a songwriter as well, obviously. And I feel like it would just be so cool to be able to spend some time writing some songs with him. And I feel like I would learn a lot off of him because he's just such an exceptional musician. And last but not least would probably be Ryan Tedder, who is the singer of One Republic. So him as well, kind of like Ed Sheeran. I've seen a couple documentaries with him where he's just been writing so many songs. Like you don't even know that he's a songwriter on those songs, like, but he's been writing so many hits. It's absolutely crazy. So I feel like if I had the chance to work with him, I'm sure that would be, it would be a cool session that we would do for sure.
So on to my very next question. So what would be your all-time favorite top cover song to perform of all time, and why?
Actually, I do like performing a lot of covers when I do play shows. So I do have quite a bit to choose from here, but I would probably go number one would be The Hills by The Weeknd, simply because what I like to do with covers is I like to take a song that's completely out of my style, or a song that is not normally acoustic, and really take it and make it my own. Still obviously keep the vibe of the song and the same kind of feels, but make it really more acoustic in my own style. And I feel like The Hills is one of those songs where I think that I've managed quite well to turn it into something that's a little bit more unique. And it's a song that a lot of people know, especially the youngsters. It's The Weeknd, right? So he's a very popular artist. That would be my favorite song to play. I also have Don't Stop Believing, because everybody sings along to that one, right? No matter what crowd you got, everybody's going to know it. Everybody's going to be singing along. It's a feel good song too, I feel. So it's a great song to play live. And the last one, I would go with Human Nature by Michael Jackson, actually, because that's kind of like The Hills and The Weeknd. It's one of those songs where I was really able to make it my own. And it's super, super fun to play. Also, for The Hills of The Weeknd, I forgot to mention, there's a video on YouTube that I do. So if you want to, people listening, if you want to check it out, go ahead to my YouTube channel, and it's right there for you to listen to.
So on to my very next question. So looking back over your time in the music industry, like if you could talk to your younger self, like what advice would you give to younger Alex, and why?
Number one thing would be practice, practice, practice. No matter what, you can always get better. No matter how good you think you are, it's always so important to practice. And especially like, I feel like when you start off, a lot of people feel like, oh, I'll never be able to do this, or I don't have the voice to be an amazing singer. I wasn't born with it, right? That's something you hear a lot of people say, but I always have this say that, like, no, if you practice, you will be able to get to it. You just have to put the time and the effort to get better. You do the vocal exercises, practice your performances, go to open mics so you can practice in front of a crowd, because it's so different to, when you're home alone compared to when people are actually watching you, because those nerves can actually affect your performance. So if you're able to practice in front of an audience, it's a great lesson. And also to not give up. That's another big thing. I know there's a lot of people out there. It can be discouraging for them to, work so hard on something and not see the results you're expecting. But it's just, if you just keep pushing and not give up, at some point you're gonna get to that point. And I think those would be probably the biggest points. But I would also add to not care too much what other people think. And I feel like writing songs for yourself, if you like them, that's all that's important. And when I was starting off, I remember I would write a song and I would be like, it's good, but I don't know if people are going to like it. But now looking back, I say, you know what? It doesn't matter, because I like it. And I feel like that's what music should be. You should create things that you like without thinking of the lens of how other people are going to see it. Just if you enjoy it, if you like what you do, then put it out there. And those are actually usually some of the best songs.
Well, so on to my very next question for you. So on to the positive and negative side in the industry. Like, what are the positive and negative sides into the music industry, and how do you get through those like negative moments as an artist?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of positives and negatives in this industry. But the positives would definitely be the impact that you can have on people's life. As I was saying earlier, it's when people come to shows and you can see them relate to your songs, and that just means so much to me. And it's such a positive thing to be able to give to people this moment of like a little bit of how could I put this? It's just good to see that you're affecting people's lives in a positive way. That is an amazing feeling. It doesn't get better than that. Also, the people that I get to meet because I write songs, all the musicians that I've met at shows, or even just fans getting in touch with you saying like, "Oh, I really love your music. I've been listening to your songs a lot. They really mean a lot." And those moments are just indescribable. That's pretty much why I do music, is to be able to have that effect on people and be able to help them get through tough times and make better times even better. Because I feel like that's what music has done for me for my whole life. As soon as I was going through a breakup, I would put on the sad songs on my in my radio and just listen to that, and it really helped me get through those tough moments. So that the biggest positive is definitely being able to help out other people in the same way that music's helped me. For negatives, it can get really mentally challenging, I'd say. It's something I'm getting better at, but at first it's really tough to as I was saying earlier, is when you work hard on something and you don't necessarily see the results that you want to see, that can be really draining for you mentally, right? And it can also bring a lot of negative emotions, and it can get really tough. It can also be tough that like you do have to put a lot of effort into it. So there's a lot of parties you can't go to, or there's a lot of, when you have a show like in another city, you can't necessarily go and see all your friends or spend the weekend with your buddies or go and see your family because you have to go play that show, which it's a great thing, but at the same time it's a lot of work, it's a lot of effort, and you need to be willing to be able to go through all that, right?
So, my very last question for you, Alex. So, like, what's next for you for like the end of 2022 and onwards for 2023? Like, any upcoming projects that you'd like to announce on the show?
Yes, and actually, I just came back from the studio a couple days ago where I recorded some brand new songs. Unfortunately, I don't think they'll be out before 2023, but it will definitely be early 2023. Just because for in December, it's known to not be a good time to post new songs. I think it's because of all those Christmas songs is what gets all the attention right during December. So it's just a common thing to not release music in December. So I am gonna probably wait until January to release these new songs, but they're definitely really good. I really like them. I would say it's some of my favorite songs that I've written, so I'm really excited about them. And hopefully I'll be able to start doing some more shows. I have a couple shows coming up in the city of Ottawa on the east coast of Canada. So if anyone's around, come and check it out. It would be fun to see you guys there. But yeah, hopefully I'll be able to start that tour that I was mentioning on the east coast of Canada, play shows in more cities. And I'm working on an EP also. So the next songs I'll be releasing will be singles, but there's also going to be an EP coming up, hopefully in not too long. It's almost done. Only missing one more song, so it should be out shortly.
Well, I would love to ask, by the way, Alex, would you like to perform one of your original songs on the show if you have time?
Hey, I would love that. Yeah, absolutely. Is it, do you have a request, or is it cool if I play one of those brand
It's
new ones?
whatever you feel at the time. It's all good.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Let me grab my guitar. I'm all set up. So, not sure if you can hear me fine. I didn't really
I
set
can
up my
hear you
microphone
perfect.
for.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So I'm going to start with, I'm going to play the new song that I will be releasing shortly. It's called The Very First Time, and it goes like this. Wanna know all the things that cross your mind. Where you're from, what you do on your spare time. Wish I could slow down time, 'cause I don't want you to go. So Would you mind if I asked you to stay the night? 'Cause you make me lose my mind. That look in your eyes, you make me feel alive for the very first time in a while. Now I don't feel so low. Want you to know you got me hypnotized for the very first time in my life. And it all feels right for the very first time. Swear you're worth more than all your weight in gold. Finding someone like you so difficult. Watching time go by, but I don't want you to go. So would you mind if I asked you to stay a while? 'Cause you make me lose my mind. That look in your eyes, you make me feel alive for the very first time in a while. Now I don't feel so low. I want you to know you got me hypnotized for the very first time in my life. And it all feels right for the very first time. Don't get me wrong. If I'm dreaming, I don't wanna know. For once I don't feel alone. 'Cause you make me lose my mind. That look in your eyes, you made me feel alive for the very first time in my life.
Oh my God! Wow, Alex.
Well, thank you so
Man,
much for
oh my
listening.
God, that's amazing. Your voice is, as I said, you as an artist you're inspiring. You really are. Like
I
with that
appreciate that.
song,
Thank you so much.
truly inspiring, dude. Um, any last final thoughts that you'd like to share to people on the show?
I just want to say, well, thank you so much for having me. This has been so fun, and I love all the interviews that you do. I've been watching all your stuff on YouTube, and I just love it. So thank you so much for reaching out. But other than that, I just want to say a big thank you to everybody who's been streaming my music. This past year, it's been the year that there's the most amount of people that stream my stuff. And there's a lot of cool stuff coming. So stay tuned. Make sure to follow me on social media. There's a lot of cool stuff on the way. And like there's new music, and I'll be doing a lot of TikTok videos as well. So little snippets of original stuff and a lot of covers. So make sure to check that out. And again, thank you so much for having me. It's been super
Good
fun.
luck.